For now, it's time to look at the Thanksgiving props courtesy of DraftKings. We'll start with the early game, the 5-6 Packers taking on the 8-2 Lions. Jared Goff, who had 3 interceptions last week and almost had a fourth that would have been a pick six. Jalen Johnson had it in his hands. 252.5 passing yards is the over-under. Goff had 236 against the Bears. He's averaging 274.3 per game. Is he over or under against the Packers?
You know what the interesting thing is, Mike? Last year we were talking about how good Jared Goff was at home and how much worse he was on the road. Well, this year at home, he has six of 10 games this season are over 252, but surprisingly, only 2 of those are home games. And part of that is because they run the ball so well at home. Packers are 7th against the pass, 28th against the run defensively. I think he goes under in this because I think they run the ball really well.
And I agree with you. I talked to David Montgomery after the game on Sunday and asked him about this sharing of the workload with him and Jahmyr Gibbs. I said, are you happy with the division? He said, I'm happy that we're winning, which implied a little something to me. But they almost have identical touches, identical production the past couple of weeks. Gibbs is on the field a little bit more than Montgomery. But when you've got those two guys, and I think what you want to do now, and the win helps rebuild Jared Goff's confidence, but I don't think you want to have him flinging it all over the place. You don't want him to have another 2 or 3 interception game on Thanksgiving. You want to kind of build it back a little slowly because you don't want him to all of a sudden become a guy that is throwing multiple interceptions a game. Lean on Montgomery and Gibbs and get through this short week. Get your mini bye and move forward with more games that they should win. Really, all the way until Dallas Week 17, the night that Jimmy Johnson will be added to the Ring of Honor at AT&T Stadium. They have games they should win. They'll be favored in those games, and they've got the 1 seed potentially in their grasp. What's the better bet? We just showed the graphic of Montgomery and Gibbs. Montgomery over 66.5 yards or Gibbs over 46.5 yards. Last week, Montgomery had 76 and Gibbs had 36.
I actually like both of those, Mike. I guess I would go with David Montgomery, but he's averaging 84 at home, and Gibbs is averaging 71.3 at home. I like both of those guys to go over, but I have to pick one. I'm going to pick Montgomery.
See, I'll go Gibbs just because it's a lower number. It's easier to hit. I think they'll both have decent performance, solid performance as they continue this sharing. And it works because when one guy gets injured, the other guy just takes over. It reminds me back in the old days of Mike Allstott and Warwick Dunn. That was really the first time we saw, and they were as different as they could be in style, but they would both play equally, relatively speaking, and then if one got banged up, the other one would take over, and it would just go back and forth, and I think that's what's going to happen. We saw Gibbs have some great performances when Montgomery was hurt. If either of them gets hurt again, the other one steps up, but if both are healthy, the Lions are going to be tough to beat. Commanders at the Cowboys, we talked earlier about the likelihood of a blowout and the possibility of Ron Rivera being fired. Dak Prescott's over-under in passing yards for that game is 296.5. Are you over or are you under? Oh, well, passing and rushing. Thank you, Courtney. Yeah. Total yards, passing and rushing.
Three of the last 4 games, he's passed for over 300 yards. He's averaging 306 yards in home games. I think he goes over, and I think he goes over easily, Mike, unless the Cowboys are blowing out the Commanders and they sit him down for Cooper Rush in the 4th quarter.
This feels like a hello world, I'm still here type of a game for Dak Prescott. It does. And it's an opportunity to flex his muscles a little bit. Not that they're hidden from national TV, but this is the game that will be viewed probably more than any other game all season long, even though it does feature the Commanders. A huge captive audience, and Dak's got the opportunity to remind everyone that he's still one of the best quarterbacks in the NFL, especially in a year where so many are injured and so many are just kind of not the guys that we thought they were. All right, the night game on NBC, 49ers at the Seahawks. San Francisco 7-3, Seattle 6-4. Questions about Geno Smith's injury status. Will he play? Won't he play? Let's focus on Christian McCaffrey. 49ers running back over-under of 113.5 rushing and receiving. Which are you taking?
I'm going to go over. He's averaged 90 rushing yards and 28 receiving yards in road games this season. And I know they're using Brandon Ayuk a lot more than they have been, but Seattle is 21st against the pass. I think he might have more receiving yards than rushing yards, but I think total yards, I think he goes over 113.5.
Yeah, I do too. Look, this is a chance for them to basically put the dagger in the Seahawks. They'll face them again. But, there's only one game separating these two teams because of that 3-game losing streak the 49ers had. I think they're the superior team, and McCaffrey will love that opportunity on Thanksgiving night to show what he can do. Same game, better bet. Brandon Ayuk of the 49ers over 63.5 receiving yards, or DK Metcalf over 58.5. Ayuk has 92.3 receiving yards per game this year, and Metcalf only has 71.8.
I'm going to go with Ayuk in that one.
I agree with you just because we don't know, number one, is Geno Smith going to play? And number two, if he does,
right,
how effective will he really be just 4 days after that triceps injury behind the elbow that knocked him out of the game? He was able to come back and throw late, but we don't know, and it seems like they still don't know who it's going to be. And if Drew Lock plays, it's an opportunity for him to maybe, carry the team a little bit better if he can avoid the turnovers that were plaguing Geno Smith earlier this year. All right, don't forget on DraftKings Sportsbook this season, new customers can bet $5 and pocket $150 in bonus bets instantly, plus all customers can get a no-sweat same-game parlay every day. Download the app, use the promo code PFTLive when you sign up. DraftKings Sportsbook, the crown is yours. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.